parents of the children who died are watching right now, and they're hearing you say that not everything that could possibly have been done as humanly fast as it could be done was done. Are they owed an apology from somebody, be it the incident commander and the police department here, not from you? Because
if I thought it would help, I'd apologize. But let me say this. Hey, let me say this.
Hold on.
And when you go back to the timeline, again, I want to go back, and I'm not defending anything, but you go back to the timeline. There was a barrage. Hundreds of rounds were pumped in 4 minutes, okay, into those two classrooms. Then anything else, any firing afterwards was sporadic, and it was at the door. So the belief is that there may not be anybody living anymore, and that the subject is now trying to keep law enforcement at bay or entice them to come in.
But you had the 911
suicide by
calls.
contact. I understand that. I reported that. You know, forget how I'm doing. What about the parents of those children? Don't forget about me.
Good evening. I'm Leland Vittert in Uvalde, Texas. By example after example, the people who were supposed to protect the students inside Robb Elementary School, the people who were supposed to run to the sound of gunfire, the people charged with keeping these students alive failed them. The list of mistakes 72 hours after the shooting here, after 19 fourth graders died, 2 teachers killed, is damning. It begins with a teacher who reportedly left a door of the school propped open earlier in the day. She was running out to get something. That ended up being the door that the gunman entered through. The school resource officer that was supposed to be on campus wasn't here. He drove by the gunman during the initial 911 call as the gunman crouched. And most tragically, and perhaps most specifically, you're looking at the school chief of police for the school district, Pete Arredondo. He stood outside the classroom for 40 minutes with a number of officers. He heard gunshots inside, and he kept him and his officers outside for 40 minutes as the gunman killed more children, and other children who were wounded likely bled out. 40 minutes. And during that time, we now know there were multiple 911 calls from children inside the classroom begging, pleading for help from the police outside, and he ordered them to stay outside. Here's the head of the Texas Rangers explaining just how badly, how terribly wrong the decisions made during those 40 minutes were.
The on-scene commander considered a barricaded subject and that there was time and there were no more children at risk. Obviously, you know, based upon the information we have, there were children in that classroom that were at risk, and it was, in fact, still an active shooter situation and not a barricaded subject. Of course, it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that.
And today's revelations largely prove these parents right. There were a number who rushed to the school when they heard about the lockdown. They tried to fight through the police lines. They begged the police to do something. When they heard gunfire, they said, if you won't go in, give us our weapons, we will go in. And police, of course, held them back. Javier Cazares, father of a fourth grader, was among those standing outside during those 40 minutes. His little girl was inside. She died. Here's Javier.
I just wish they should have done more. If they're under training, I don't blame them. It's not their fault they're not getting trained. It's their commanders and their higher ups. You know,
Tell me, when you were standing there and they were telling you to stand back, and you knew your daughter was in that classroom, still inside the school, what were you thinking? What'd you tell the police?
I mean, I asked them, can we help? In a way, it's like I want to go in. Same time, it's like I'm keeping them from, they're trying to do their job.
Yeah, as he said, the 5 other men standing next to him would have gladly run in as well. Javier's daughter, Jacqueline, who you see here, died. She died at the hospital. meaning that when the paramedics finally got in, almost an hour after the initial shooting inside the classroom, the paramedics got in, they found her alive. They took her to the hospital because they believed they could save her. Those 60 minutes, the golden hour is what trauma surgeons call it, could have meant the difference for life and death for Jacqueline. This is some additional video from outside the school. We don't know exactly when in the timeline it was taken, but there are reports of parents being tackled by police. Of course, the parents didn't know this, but as they were being held back, their kids were locked inside classrooms with the gunman. The kids were calling 911, begging, pleading for help, and their parents were outside. The whole incident took about 70 minutes. There was about 40 minutes or 50 from the time the police first got to the door of the classroom 111 here, and the time that the gunman was finally killed. It's roughly 60 minutes, the time frame of this television program. So throughout this program, we are going to remind you of what would have been happening during the hour. So right about now, we are going to start at the beginning, where Salvatore Ramos entered the school and made his way to classroom 111. And the start serves as a very good reminder that obviously there was a discussion about a motive. Then there was the discussion about the guns and gun laws. Then there's discussion about the red flags and what could have prevented Ramos. Then now there's the discussion about the police and if police failures are to blame or the teacher who propped open the door to blame. And through all that, we have to remember that at about 11 o'clock, 11:30 on Tuesday, evil came to this school, and it is he and he alone who is solely at fault for doing this. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.